Welcome to the Village Boy Podcast. It is your host, Trez. Today, something caught my attention. Going through X, I found that Governor Greg Abbott of Texas has reprimanded a city council that was trying to vote a resolution to put an embargo or limit funds that comes from that city, San Marcos, and gets transferred over to Israel. The Republican Greg Abbott called it anti-Semitic, and that immediately caught my attention because Israel is untouchable. You cannot attack Israel. You cannot call Israel any kind of names. You should know this. You should know that Israel is the chosen country. You cannot attack it. The Republicans are going to come for you with everything that they have got. Israel is untouchable. Greg Abbott said Israel is an ally, which means a friend, a trusted buddy. But I thought in friendship, we should be able to hold each other accountable. If you are my friend, I should be able to call you out. If we are friends, you should be able to call me out if I'm acting in a way that is not responsible. But as we know, nobody's supposed to do this for Israel. Israel can do whatever they want to do. They're God's chosen people. They have a carte blanche to do just about anything. But before we get into the detail, where is San Marcos, right? What place is this? Because you have to know. I was like, okay, but who the hell is San Marcos and where on earth is San Marcos? Or San Marcos? Who the hell is San Marcos or where the hell is San Marcos? San Marcos is a Texas city located in the central part of Texas, midway between Austin and San Antonio, two big metropoles. Situated on the Interstate 35, 30 miles southwest of Austin. The dollar amount that we're talking about is $4,434,675 that San Marcos directly sent over to Israel. And my first thing is that why does a small town like this, why are they sending money to Israel? And it got me so confused. But before that, right, let's go ahead and see exactly what the great governor of the state of Texas wrote in his letter, his corn, to the county executive or the city executive of San Marcos. He wrote to the mayor of the city of San Marcos. I'm aware that on April 15th, 2025, the San Marcos City Council considered a resolution calling for a transfer of permanent sovereignty over the occupied Palestinian territories and an embargo on the state of Israel. That right there would be something that would drive Republicans crazy. You cannot put an embargo on God's chosen people. You cannot put an embargo on an ally. You cannot put an, you can, Israel is untouchable. How dare you, San Marcos? Like you should know this. The resolution claims to be rooted in the principle that all people are entitled to live life in safety and free from violence, and states that it unequivocally condemns targeting civilians, but I have not found any past resolution that unequivocally condemns targeting civilians by Hamas or affirms that the Jews murdered on October 7 were entitled to live life in safety and free from violence. So, right here, if you say that the killings of civilians in the Gaza Strip in Palestine is not fair. They've killed over 50,000 people, women and children mostly. If you say that without saying the attacks on the October 7th on the Israeli side were just as bad, but Israel was justified to kill 50,000 people, Republicans are not going to lend you credibility. I fear that at some point, if I go against God's chosen people, if I say anything to the contrary against the 51st state of America, I will be labeled as such because it's a label that's just dished around that at some point it's not going to hold any value. If you question Israel, if you question Netanyahu, if you question God's chosen people or the 51st state, Republicans will destroy you. Let's keep reading. City Council members voted to bring this pro Hamas resolution to a formal vote at their next meeting on Tuesday, May 6th. Israel is a stalwart ally of the United States and a friend to Texas. What does this mean? What does this have to do with anything? What does it mean when somebody says Israel is an ally? What is that? Some kind of laissez-passer? Is that some kind of carte blanche that they can do whatever they want to be? They're an ally and are subject to no form of criticism. What does it mean? I mean, France is an ally, Germany is an ally, Japan is an ally. We don't give them this kind of freedom, this kind of laissez-passer. You have allies across the board. Where does Israel get this? What extra benefit do they get as an ally that the other allies don't get? Thailand is an ally, a protectorate. I don't even know. Even territories, American territories, the Virgin Islands, Guam, Puerto Rico, don't get the attention that Israel gets for any reason whatsoever. But like I said, once it's the chosen people of God, you have to be very careful as you walk around this conversation. It's a very delicate territory, and people just have to know. You cannot look at Israel the way you look at other allies because the Republicans hold them. This is their way to get into heaven. Republicans understand that if you want to go to heaven, it starts by protecting and blessing Israel. Through Israel, every Republican is going to go to heaven. This is how Republicans view Israel, and that's why they see Israel as an untouchable. If they do anything, it's not my place to condemn them, it's God's place to condemn them. Thou shalt not judge. That was specifically meant for Israel. Let's keep reading. And a friend to Texas, I have repeatedly made clear that Texas will not tolerate anti Semitism. If you say you've killed 50,000 people, how is this Jewish hatred? How is this hatred for the Jews? How is this you calling for the murder or destruction or the non existence of a Jewish state? Please, if you say Israel, you have bombarded, you have blown up, you have almost wiped out the Gaza, and the death toll is upwards of 50 to 60,000 people. Yes, you have a right to defend yourself. The October 7th attacks were unjustified. But do you measure that? You do you get satisfaction that 50,000 people, nobody should question, nobody should be like Jesus Christ. 50,000 people have been killed. And this is anti-Semitism. If you question this, if you say Israel is a sovereign nation, yes, I get that they're this people, God's chosen people, but there's still a country that exists within the world. They should be governed with the same rules like every other country. So nobody can question Israel without being labeled anti Semitic. Nobody can hold Israel responsible. So if if Israel were to drop a nuclear weapon right now, or do, because they've done crazy things, they were to drop a nuclear bomb somewhere, nobody can ask a question. Nobody can hold them accountable. Nobody can say, my goodness, because why? You will be labeled anti-Semitic. This thing right now should not mean anything. Nobody should be scared to be called anti-Semitic because it should have no value, because Republicans have decided to use it like a decoration, like something that they just want to distribute. It should have zero value. It's like calling white people right now racist. It means nothing to them because we've called them racist so much that it has zero value. They could do racist stuff and you call them racist, and they do more racist stuff because why not? They don't care. They don't care. It's like you've called men toxic masculinity so much that men have just disconnected. It don't make no sense. Nobody's scared again to be called that you're a toxic masculine man. No, it don't face nobody. We should be at that stage now with this anti Semitic nonsense. If you're not outright calling for the extinction of a people, the Israeli people, if all you're doing is saying what is going on out there is not humane, it's not normal, it's not acceptable, and you're labeled anti Semitic, please rub it off, call it, and keep doing what you're doing. That should be the message, and that should be the energy that everybody that wants to hold Israel accountable should have. This label should have no value again because they've watered it down. In Texas, no government, did I miss? Issued an exec. Oh, I have repeatedly made it clear that Texas will not tolerate anti-Semitism. What nonsense! Anti-Israel policy, anti-Texas policy. Like what? 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 Like you don't even have an anti-Guam policy. You don't have a policy anti-Puerto Rico policy. You don't have an anti-Virgin Islands policy. And these are U.S. territories. And you have an Israel policies in the state of Texas. This has to be madness extraordinaire. Over a year ago, following Hamas cowardly attack and campus disruptions openly celebrating terrorism, I issued an executive order addressing anti-Semitism in higher education. I have proudly signed legislation prohibiting government entities from supporting efforts to boycott, divest from, and sanction Israel. That remains the law here. So nobody can sanction Israel because Hamas attacked Israel. Nobody can question Israel. Even when the September 11, 9/11 happened and America was justified to attack the countries that America attacked, people were still holding America accountable. People were still calling for America to take some level of moral high grounds, to not just run haywire. There was never a label that was given to anybody that did not support the America's war on terrorism. There was never a specific label, anti something, anti-America or something like that. There was no label. There were no laws passed to prohibit people from questioning that America was doing some inhumane things in Iraq. Weapons of mass destruction were not seen. All of this. There was no label. How come now people cannot question? You can do right by defending yourself, but you can go so far that somebody needs to be able to be like, bruh, you've gone so far. Sir, you've gone so far. Somebody got into your house and hurt you. You took a gun and you shot them dead, and then you went upstairs, you reloaded your gun, and you came back and you shot the dead body 100 more times. That's what Israel is doing right now. In America, if you shoot the dead body that's not no more attacking you, that becomes a crime. But it's not the same thing for Israel. You cannot. Everybody is forbidden from calling Israel out, from passing any resolution that is going to be against Israel. Do you think that Israel will then act responsibly in an event where Israel knows that they're above the law, they're untouchable, nobody can hold them accountable? How can a country exist where the laws that protect Israel are different from the laws that protect every other country in the world? No, in Texas, no governmental entity may enter into a contract worth 100,000 or more unless it includes a written verification that the contracting entity does not boycott Israel. Imagine that. Do you have the same laws with every other country? If not, why only Israel? Either Israel is a sovereign country, operates as a sovereign country with the rights of a sovereign country, or Israel is just a protected state. It's an endangered state with protected laws, but it cannot have sovereign status. It has to have a protected mandate where America is subject to protect it the way you're doing with Taiwan. It cannot be a standalone independent country. The proposed resolution seems calculated to violate this law by calling for San Marcos to limit its commercial relationship with Israel. Specifically, the resolution identifies 4,434,000 $1,000, 635 cents, 675 cents came from San Marcos resident taxes that was sent to Israel. If it then calls for the reallocation of such local funds away from Israel's military and towards essential domestic priorities. It is difficult to believe that a city so carefully accounting for every dollar flowing to Israel and determined to reallocate those funds in a self described embargo on our ally is at the same time requiring written verification from its contracting partners that they will not boycott Israel. This public expression of a desire to do what state law prohibits is unacceptable. Whenever San Marcos enters into grant agreement with my office, it is required to certify that it will comply with all state laws, including laws prohibiting government support for boycott of Israel. My office is already reviewing active grants with San Marcos to determine whether the city has breached terms by falsely certifying compliance with Texas law. If the city council adopts this resolution, the office of the governor will not enter into any future grant agreement with the city and will act swiftly to terminate active grants for non-compliance. I will further direct all other state agencies to review agreements with the city for possible breach. This is the governor of the state of Texas fighting with a city within his state that does not want to allocate funds to a foreign country out in the Middle East. Make this make sense. When they say Republicans are hypocrites, this is exactly what we mean. This is the Republican governor of Texas fighting against the people he swore an oath to protect for the interests of a foreign country miles and miles away he did not swear an oath to protect. Make it make sense. This man, Greg Abbott, swore an oath to protect the entirety of Texas. That includes San Marcos. And today, he is bidding for a foreign entity. If that is not treason, I don't know what treason means. Maybe I don't. But fighting on behalf of a foreign government to suppress your own people is the most Republican thing ever. That's how we got China today, because Republicans and Democrats fought to transfer all of our knowledge, all of our resources over to China. And when China blew up and China is trying to take over the world, now America is acting like China is the problem. And again, we have a Republican governor fighting against the children of San Marcos. Why is a small town like San Marcos, population 74,000 people, sending $1 for whatever reason to Israel? Any money sent to Israel should be in exchange for goods and services that will benefit Israel and benefit San Marcos. San Marcos wants some medical equipment for the San Marcos hospital, and it's only found in Israel, and it costs $4 million. San Marcos is going to buy that equipment from Israel. Israel is going to supply that equipment to the San Marcos hospital and train the personnel on how to use it. That should be the relationship. San Marcos should be in no way using taxpayer dollars to send $1, a cent to the Israel military. That does not benefit the children of San Marcos. Let's look further to understand, because maybe for Americans they don't get it. But let's look at this. I decided to ask Grok, what do you get from being born in Israel? What does a child get from being born in Israel? And what does a child get from being born in San Marcos, Texas? Okay, here you have it. Being born in Israel grants several rights and benefits. This is in the case where you are a citizen. If your parents are not Israeli, then you don't get this benefit. Birth in Israel typically confers Israeli citizen under the law of return 1950. Of course, Israel is a brand new country, so their laws are still relatively new 1950. Okay, healthcare. Citizens have access to Israel's national healthcare insurance system, providing subsidized medical care through Health Fund Kuput Holim. I'm probably butchering that name. But this is universal health care because Israel has universal health care. So at birth, a child born in Israel has universal health care. A child born in San Marcos does not have universal health care. The child born in Israel is protected for life. The child born in San Marcos, it depends on the child's economic background. If they're born in a poor from a poor family, they're not going to have good insurance. It does not matter where you're born in Israel, you have some of the best insurance medical care in the world. And people from poor San Marcos are sending money to the military to protect the citizens from rich Israel. Americans, you listen. I get the God's chosen people part. I get the 51st day. We need to protect an ally. This is a rich nation. You are poor people. You are sending your money to a rich country to protect them so they don't spend their money on their military because you are paying for their military. So what they're spending their money on, they're spending their money on healthcare, the best healthcare. Israel has some of the best healthcare anywhere in the world. And you're sitting in San Marcos, you're sitting somewhere in Texas, sending money for somebody, a child born into good healthcare, when your child is not born into good healthcare, but you are willing. But like I said, you've been told that if you bless and you send that money, no, it doesn't matter what you do here on earth, it would be your path to heaven. Education, free public education from kindergarten through high school, with access to higher education, universities, and college at subsidized rates for citizens. Oh my goodness. Listen, that child is set to be more intelligent than the average San Marcos child born in San Marcos. That 4 million should go to invest in the San Marcos child, in the San Marcos child's health, wealth, benefit, in the San Marcos child's education. The Israelis child is fine. They're already the God's chosen people. They're blessed. They're already good. And they have good health care. They have good, amazing education. The child in San Marcos may not even be able to read at grade level because they're taking money from the child and sending it to a child that is already set and blessed and has abundance. Social welfare, eligibility for benefits like child allowances, unemployment benefits, and pension through the National Insurance Institute. Here are the perks that the child born in Israel has. The child born in America, what do they get? 2,500 from your tax return, child tax credit that Republicans don't even value. They think Republicans probably think that's a lot of money. They're granted, yeah, there's a child tax credit in America, but it doesn't even begin to compare with what the Israeli child is getting. Israeli citizens receive an Israeli passport allowing visa-free or visa on arrival travel to many countries. Okay, that is similar to what an American child is going to have. The right to enter and exit Israel safely. Okay, subject to security regulations. I guess that's a privilege because, hey, it's the Holy Land. You got to be blessed to be part of that part of the world. So it's a privilege to be able to enter and leave if you have the passport. But just the health care alone is enough reason to say San Marcos and most other places like San Marcos should not send a dime to Israel. If I don't have what you have, and what you have is better, it's good, that's what I should also have. How am I being convinced that I should sponsor your life, your security, your well-being when you are already health wise better than I, you are educationally better than I? In what criterias am I looking at to justify me not taking care of my children but sponsoring and ensuring your children are well off? You could see that it is a privilege and a blessing to be born in Israel because one, your defense, is subsidized by poor Americans that don't have the quality of life that you have. It is a privilege. And you have made Americans understand that attacking the people of God is a curse that Americans, now Republicans, are going to defend with their lives. Greg Abbott does not fight this hard to ensure that the American child has the same health care, the Texas child has the same health care like the child in Israel. He doesn't fight this hard for that. Greg Abbott does not fight this hard that a child born in Texas has the same quality of education like the child born in Israel. But if you call that out, you will be reminded that you hate Israel, you hate the Jews, you want the death of the Jews, you want to destroy Israel, you don't want Israel to be exist. They're going to call you anti-Semitic, as if the Palestinian people are not Semitic people. But Americans don't care. They don't want to hear. It's about going to heaven. Republicans want to go to heaven. And if going to heaven means passing through Israel, I will run over you if I have to pass through Israel to go to heaven. The goal is heaven. And Israel is on the way. I have to be good to Israel to go to heaven. I don't have to be good to my children. I don't have to have universal health care for my children. I don't have to have good education for my children. But I need to ensure the children of Israel are good. And I will have at least 50% chance of making it to heaven. Go ahead and like the page. We're growing. We're blowing up. Man, I didn't see this rise. Thank you guys for supporting us. It's been amazing. We're going to talk on honest issues. If they want to label us, they're going to label us either ways. I already know that you cannot touch Israel. I know that. But if you want honesty, this is going to be your channel. Like this page, subscribe. Let's continuously, in all respect, have an honest conversation. Israel is good. America needs time alone to fix America. A small town like San Marcos should not send a cent to the Israeli military. Greg Abbott gets a complete fail grade, an F plus, double plus, for reprimanding a city in a state that he is supposed to protect at the expense of a foreign country. Greg Abbott, you are a disappointment, and the Village Boy gives you an F. It's been your host for the Village Boy. Thank you.